going to hold that there for a minute. Texas Longhorns coming through in the biggest way tonight, second half. I was one of those guys, I didn't want to put down Garrett Gilbert. I still know. I saw that last year there were a lot of problems with that Texas team that didn't involve Gilbert. Now, he was one of the problems. He didn't play that great last year. But, the start of this game, staring down receivers. It's like, to him, Mike Davis was the only receiver on the field. He didn't even really try to throw to anyone else. Both those interceptions, he just stared a guy down. The interception where it would end up being picked off, with the 2 or something like that, he just threw it right into double, triple coverage, and bottom line is, they may just chalk this up to a bad day for Garrett Gilbert. Bad luck. Whatever. He didn't play that great last week. He gave me hope that he'd be better last week. But after seeing today's game, it doesn't look like he's improved at all last week. There are some... To me, it looks like he was just lost out there. He did not know what was going on. Everything was just speeding past him. It was just too fast. He looked confused every time he came off the field. Whether it was a 3-and-out or he threw a pick, he looked confused. Like he didn't know what happened or why it happened. You never saw Colt McCoy look confused. Even the season he threw 18 interceptions, you did not see him look confused. I would not be surprised to see Garrett Gilbert back out there next week, but I would be disappointed. The commentators kept saying time and time again, this Texas team looks like a different team in the second half. They look more motivated. Their offense is better. They look more fresh. They look cleaner. Why is that? What was the only change from the first half to the second? We got rid of Garrett Gilbert. Case McCoy. He had me confused a few times tonight. He did look like Colt on a few occasions, and Jackson as well looked just like Jordan Shipley out there a couple of times. It did my heart well. So much good just to hear McCoy and Shipley used in a positive way in the present in the same sentence. To see a McCoy throw a completion to a Shipley just did so much for me. You literally have no idea. My YouTube name is not Colt 2 Jordan for nothing. I loved hearing McCoy to Shipley. And I missed hearing that last year. I really did. Gilbert made me sick in this first half. I had horrible memories from last year, just flashing back saying, And again, the defense looked great in the first half, but our offense couldn't find itself, which means if we hadn't found ourselves like we did in the second half, the defense would have gotten trampled because they were on the field the entire first quarter. In the first quarter, I believe we had 4 series, and 2 of them ended in interceptions. And the other 2 were 3-and-outs. So, it's a lot of time for our defense to be on the field. It made me sick out there watching the game. But McCoy and Ash looked like the real deal. Ash was running that zone read beautifully. What I love seeing from him, as an offensive coordinator, you may not love seeing this, but he was getting out there on that zone read and throwing blocks. You may not like seeing that as an offensive coordinator, but you love seeing that as a fan. Down the road, no, you don't like seeing that as an offensive coordinator. But for right now, you gotta love seeing that because that shows his determination. That shows his want to get in there and make plays, whatever it is, get his hands dirty. This team excites me so much. For a while there, I wasn't thinking it was looking too good. we found out certainly one thing today. We may not know how good this team is even still from today. For sure, we don't know how good BYU is. I know their defense is great, but I also know our defense is better. Oh man, we put on a show in the second half defensively. I mean, they weren't even on the field. That's something this team has not been able to say that since Colt was here. Bottom line, they haven't been able to say that, but the defense has just not had to be on the field. And the fact that when they were on the field, even in the first half, they were phenomenal. Something I haven't seen from this Texas defense since Colt was here, which feels like forever ago. I know it was only 2 years, but it feels like a long time. Is a swarming nature. That a guy takes a handoff, and within a second, you've got 4 orange jerseys all over him. I just love seeing that. The swarming defense, that has been Texas' signature for how long? Forever. When we were playing Michigan in the Rose Bowl the year before we won the championship, that was the year I fell in love with Texas football. I wasn't much of a football guy before that, but that was the first time I really saw Texas play, and I just fell in love with them. I love seeing those jerseys swarm all over the place. Didn't see that last year. I saw it again today. A Texas defender wraps up the running back, has him by his leg. The guy's not going anywhere, and he's going to get called, and he's going to go down. If just one more Texas defender comes down and, wrestles him to the ground. But instead, you could see, the minimum amount of guys going over there. 1, 2 guys go down there, bring him down. But you see 3, 4, 5 Texas jerseys just swarm in and get all over the guy. They are hungry. These guys didn't look hungry. They looked starved. Got a lot of young guys out there, and they lived up to the challenge. Got 2 interceptions from very young guys here today. There's a few times where Texas player was left on an island out there by himself, where they threw a swing pass to the running back, and it was just Texas. It was just BYU's running back in a Texas corner. The cornerback on a running back should be an advantage to the running back every time. Not only that, but one offensive player to one defensive player, advantage usually goes to the offense because the defensive player has to react. So you don't necessarily expect to see the cornerback bring down the running back, but there's a few times out there where we just brought one of our corners brought down the running back in the backfield. It just looked so good. The defense looked phenomenal. It's easy to overlook that because of what the offensive performance put together in the first half. But then in the second half, you realized how good we played in the first defensively, and it kept us in the game. And how did we get those points in the first half? It was by a drive led between David Ash and Case McCoy, not Garrett Gilbert. I do not want to see Gilbert back out there next week. I apologize for all the times that I backed him up and even got a bit snippy with some of the Texas fans saying that you wanted him to be benched. I'm always there for for giving guys a chance and everything, but there's just no more. Gilbert's had a shot. He's not cutting it for us. And the thing I didn't like about Gilbert is that you did not see him on the sidelines excited, pumped about, what was happening. Even after he got benched, he did not look supportive at all to me. He just looked like he was sitting there depressed that he didn't get to play. Yeah, I can understand that. You were the starter last year on the worst Texas team in recent memory. You're hoping to redeem yourself this year. In your first test, you throw 2 picks in the first half. I can see why he would be, disappointed about that. But guess what? You're still part of that team, and you gotta support them one way or the other. No matter what happens, you gotta support your team. And the future looks very good for these guys. And last year I saw an awful lot of I just can't express this defense enough. Last year I saw an awful lot of just one guy going there and trying to bring a guy and trying to bring a running back down. One guy defensively trying to get the ball carrier, trying to get the receiver, trying to get to the quarterback. It was a lot of one-on-one, a lot of individual stuff last year. I'm seeing more unity like we've seen in the past from these guys. and I am just loving every minute of it. I can't express it. How much I just love seeing this. I just Texas Longhorns. We're back. We may only go 8-5 this year or something like that. We're not going to win the conference, but next year, the year after, we look really good. We look like we're shaping up to be something great. Like we were when Colt was here, like we were when Vince was here. Guys, Texas football started out dark and dreary tonight, but it ended with Texas fans knowing what is happening for the future. I just can't express enough how impressed I was with this defense in the second half of the offense. Had a true freshman, basically two freshman quarterbacks out there. I mean, Derek Gilbert or Case McCoy got to sit behind Gilbert of all guys last year to learn from, and I mean, obviously he's learned. The thing I love about Texas right now is that they have Jordan Shipley's little brother, Colt McCoy's little brother, guys who know how to win. Guys, they are winners. Colt McCoy, Case McCoy, excuse me, Case has thrown for over 10,000 yards in 4 years of high school, over 100 touchdowns. This guy obviously knows how to win, and Jackson is the same. Next week, I think it's not going to be an easy game, but we are going to beat UCLA, I believe. Because last year we could not stop their run whatsoever, but it's because we had, one guy trying to get another guy. We did not play team defense last year against UCLA. We sort of came around against Nebraska and Oklahoma some before we completely just gave up. The defense just completely gave up at one point last year because the offense wasn't doing anything. What else are you going to do? I think we're going to be swarming. We're going to get the ball carries. We have some guys with a lot of confidence, a lot of swagger. I don't know why, but I'm very nervous that we are going to see Garrett Gilbert again next week. And if they're just going to say, hey, this was a bad day for Garrett, let's put him in there next week, give him a fresh start. I'm not having it. I don't want to see that, but if things start going south early with Garrett again, we know what to do to fix the problem. It's called Case McCoy. It's called David Ash. I'm very impressed with Malcolm Brown. I thought he was going to be an overrated guy. The offensive line, hey, we've learned how to run block in the offseason, haven't we? That looks good. That's good to see. And Malcolm Brown just, he had a good reputation coming out of high school. But hey, so did Garrett Gilbert, so you can't always rely on those things. But I have all the confidence in the world that he is going to be a great guy for us. And with two young quarterbacks, hopefully, running the helm, David Ash and Colt McCoy, it's gonna be good to have a guy back there who can run the ball. He took some hits today and just kept on rolling. Love seeing that. You just love it. We haven't had a good running back in Texas in a long time. So it's gonna be good to see that. From Horns, Texas Friday.